Welcome to Subramani. Financial integrity or financial fidelity in the marriage is very important, and not too many people, especially those not earning too well, worry too much about it. In fact, I meet couples where or I meet men who have not told about all their debt to their wives or all their assets to their wives, or some they hide from their spouse. I have no clue why people do it. I know people with a huge net worth where the wife has no clue about how much is the net worth, because of course this is an exceptional story where a guy holds all his holdings through private limited companies. His wife is also a director in some of these companies, but she has no clue, no inkling about his net worth. In fact, when I asked her, she gave a figure which was about 1/10 of his net worth, and she thought she was giving me a big number. That's not really a problem, because there is a web of people who know what is happening. So his wife is not fully aware of what is happening, but she knows she has enough money for the rest of her life if he were to cop it today. That's not the purpose. The purpose of this video is to say that when you are earning 1 lakh, your wife is earning 1 lakh, and you're living hand to mouth, chances are sometimes you're tempted to borrow money. And you think like, oh, it's just temporary, another 2-3 months and everything will be sorted out. And when things go wrong, then things go wrong again, then things go wrong again. So that debt keeps accumulating. But since you didn't tell your spouse about the first tranche of debt, you're now afraid that you're unable to talk about it. And you're then you start fantasizing, thinking that, oh, in just some time, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I will solve all my problem and come clean and tell my wife, look, I had this problem, but I have solved it. But this is just in fantasy land. It doesn't happen in real life. I know of people where the wife keeps money in the savings bank account, not even in an FD, and the husband is struggling with 36%, 42% interest, payday loans and stuff like that. We see it happening in India also. So, but still they don't compromise anything on lifestyle, because the wife has no clue what you're doing. So whether it is buying a bigger car, whether it is using a lot of Ola, Uber kind of stuff instead of public transport, none of that can change simply because your spouse doesn't even know that you're having a problem. What is the reason why people don't say this? I have no clue, but you have to go maybe to some international websites, Bankrate and all those people who keep doing such surveys, and then they will say that, oh, 23% of Americans have cheated, have been infidel towards their partner. Their partner doesn't know about the debt they have or about the extra savings that they have created. Extra savings created may be a happy problem, but at a time when your spouse wanted the money, you said you have no money. So sometimes it could lead to it would really be very hurtful. So some of these things you have to be careful about. People do hide from their spouses, but my advice is very simple: come clean. Just go say, I did this, and just accept it, because if you are in denial, that is going to add to your stress. It doesn't matter. There is no point for me to try to hide something from my wife, sister, mother, daughter, right? So then there is stress that, oh my God, I have to now cover it. I have to, tell one lie after the other to make sure that the first lie doesn't come out, right? So don't bother about all those things. Just go tell your spouse, look, can we talk and say, this is what has happened. I have screwed up and I have extra 10 lakhs in debt or 20 lakhs in debt, whatever, depending on the size of the hole that you have created in the family balance sheet. Now the work starts. Sit with your spouse, find out what can be done. Maybe she's got a much better CIBIL score than you have, so maybe she can take a personal loan, maybe she can take a general loan, maybe the house belongs to you, you can mortgage it again, you can remortgage, you can go and borrow maybe 10 lakhs against that and repay your debt, right? So many of these things you can do, but you will arrive at a solution only when you start looking for a solution. And in a family financial situation, the situation is, the husband and wife have to sit together to solve the problem. You cannot solve it one-sided, because if your wife suggests some expense worth, say 7,000 per month or 8,000 per month, could be anything, could be tennis classes for your kid, and you now don't want to say, oh, I can't commit to that because I've got a 10, 20 lakh rupee, 50 lakh rupee loan to be repaid. well, you know part of it, you don't know the other part of it, right? You cannot get into that conversation. So you have to spend this 5, 6, 7, 8,000 per month on your kid for a particular activity which you know you can't afford, but together on a joint balance sheet you can afford. So sit with your spouse, iron out the differences, just go fall at her feet, and I'm assuming that the man is at fault. I see a lot of women, at least 2, 3 women who I've seen who have wiped out 30, 40 lakhs out of their family portfolio by doing F&O. So these kind of things happen. So why did this person get into debt? Maybe F&O, maybe gambling, maybe whatever, overspending. No, constant overspending. It can't be overspending for 10 lakhs. It's overspending of 6,000, oh, then that's 8,000, 10,000. And the fact that you're paying 42% interest on that, it means maybe you just overspent 5 lakhs, but that 5 lakhs has become 11 lakhs today thanks to the interest. So these kind of things happen, and they hurt, and their civil score hurts. So typically if your wife is, if your spouse is looking at the numbers, he or she will realize that, look, something is wrong, our civil scores are dropping. You will go, you will find out, right? You will do all those things, but it's charged by going and saying, look, I have screwed up and this is what has happened. Then making sure that there is adequate medical insurance and adequate life insurance or term life insurance, because in case something were to happen, I mean in case of death, all the people who had lent him money would come back for recovery, but all the people to whom he had given money as a loan, nothing would come back. So maybe you re-look at insurance and say, I think we don't have any emergency fund, or we have very little emergency fund. Let us increase our medical insurance. Let me increase my term insurance for the next 5 years, because by the time I think my problem will be solved, right? So whatever, all the implications of having more debt have to be brought out and then acted upon together by you. If you are the person who has borrowed all the money and some 30 lakhs of hole has been created in the balance sheet, you need an extra insurance of at least 50 lakhs till you sort out this mess, right? So understand the implications. Financial integrity, emotional integrity, we just went past Valentine's Day, all that is important, but this financial integrity being spoken about at home with slightly older children, 12, 13-year-olds, understand what you have done, why you shouldn't have done, and what could go right, what could go wrong. Those things kids will understand. It's not so much of a problem. Then all this put together is your financial integrity towards your family. Not just not telling lies, telling the truth, saying what happened, why you lost, how, all that is important for it to come out. It could even be that you paid the medical bill of your friend or your classmate or your cousin, and you don't want your wife to know about it. Bad luck, but at some stage you have to bring it out, because none of us know when we will die. I mean, I have no clue whether I'll be here to record tomorrow's session, right? So when you know all that, don't try financial infidelity. That is horrible, perhaps worse than adultery. Thank you.